throughout the country feel they are being cared for, and their goal is to build a community-based model based on the notion that mutual support is a country's strongest line of defense. Daniel Tzemach, I24 News.
Now, for more on Memorial Day, we now welcome Stuart Steinberg, the father of fallen IDF soldier Staff Sergeant Max Steinberg, and he joins us from Los Angeles. Stuart, thank you so much for joining us on this Memorial Day. We really appreciate you speaking to us. Now, we know that Max was an American-Israeli lone soldier, a sharpshooter who was killed in the Gaza Strip during Operation Protective Edge. He was 24 years old. Tell us more about Max and why he came to Israel to enlist in the army.
Wow. So Max was, as you know, he was born in Los Angeles, California. And in 2012, he went on a birthright trip to Israel with his two siblings, Paige and Jake. Max is the eldest of the three. And Max fell in love with Israel. And by the time he returned from the trip, he had shared with us that he wanted to return to Israel. He wanted to serve in the IDF. And so by September of 2012, he had returned to Israel and enlisted in December of 2012.
Now, obviously, as people around the country are remembering, because of the coronavirus restrictions, the usual ceremonies can't be held this year. We know the Masa Israel Journey is hosting its annual Yom Hazikaron ceremony, a virtual ceremony shortly. Tell us more about this year's event and how it's going to be broadcast globally.
Well, I can't speak to the event. I can share with you that I was given the honor of doing the Kaddish for the fallen soldiers. But historically, as you know, they have this event, and this year they had to improvise, and we're just grateful to be part of the program. You know, to remember the fallen soldiers is a beautiful thing, and you know, having been to Israel for Memorial Day. The first time was, of course, after Max's passing. I learned firsthand how the Israelis embrace the soldiers, and specifically the fallen soldiers. And having been, you know, being an American and experiencing Veterans Day, Memorial Day here, it is nothing in comparison. And so the programs like what you're describing are amazingly supportive and clearly a reflection of the strength and the beauty and the warmth of the Israeli people.
So tell us more, if you will, about the legacy that Max leaves, the kind of person that he was.
Well, Max was a free spirit, and you know, if anybody got to know him, they would recognize his smile and his disposition, his warmth, his energy. He stood only about 5'4". And yet he was, you know, from our perspective, known as Mighty Max, and he just had a way about him. He has his demeanor, his willingness to do what it took in order to support his friends. In this case, of course, it was his fellow soldiers. This was what Max was all about. He was about giving. He was about supporting. He was about friendship and love of family. And when he enlisted in the IDF, it was just a continuation of the kind of dedication and spirit that he brought to his family and friends here in the United States.
And so to that exact point, talk us through the significance of this Memorial Day for you and your community in America, what it means knowing that here in Israel, the country's coming to a standstill to remember the contribution of people like your son.
Well, to me, it's everything. This year in particular is extremely difficult because we're not there. I have been in Israel for his yard site every year, and for many of the Memorial Day experiences. My wife has been there every year since Max was killed, and because of the coronavirus, we were unable to attend, to participate. So it's a really big void.
Well, thank you so much. Unfortunately, we've lost that line to Los Angeles, but Stuart Steinberg, thank you so much for sharing your story there. The father of fallen IDF soldiers, Staff Sergeant Max Steinberg, and he was speaking to us live from Los Angeles in America. Now, tomorrow at 8 p.m. Israeli time, we'll be bringing you live